Hey there, this is Rick, and I'm here with Eugene to talk about the Hot Rod 4 Deluxe, the newest iteration in the Hot Rod line. Now, Hot Rods have been around for over 20 years at this point. Anyone that's played guitar through a tube amp probably knows this amplifier from backlines and recording studios, and there's a reason for that. These are tone monsters. The clean tone's amazing. They take pedals extremely well. Very versatile amplifier. And from studios to stages around the world, chances are you're going to see one of these amplifiers there. But some new bells and whistles on the Hot Rod 4, and we thought it would be a good time to get together and talk about the Hot Rod 4s, what they sound like, the differences, and get some tones. So Eugene, you mentioned that you had actually played the Hot Rod Deluxe before?
Yes, the original iteration was a backline amp for the better part of 10 years for a gig I had, and so I need to catch up with this. I guess this is the Hot Rod 4, the Deluxe, and so I'm excited to find out what's different, because I've got really used to the old ones, but even from here I can see some changes that I already appreciate. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on under the hood, as they say.
Nice. Well, you know, really, honestly, with these amplifiers, it's one of those things where it's refinements over time.
Right.
As you said, 4th iteration. So over time, we've done things to players' benefit. We listen to our players. We listen to the customers and say, we love this, but maybe, you know, if you did this or tweak this. Mm-hmm. And so really, that's how we've gotten to this point. So with the Hot Rod 4s, one of the things that we noticed is players' tastes change over time.
Sure.
Sometimes what was acceptable as being overly bright or cutting mm-hmm. is popular in a time, and then people, you know, they veer towards warmth or different sounds.
Right.
So internally, we did a few modifications to the amplifier tonally to add warmth to the overdrive channel.
Oh, great.
Everyone loves the cleans. Cleans are kind of that Fender clean sound that you want. Right. You know, a little bit of reverb. It sounds awesome. The overdrive side, we decided to adjust that so you've got a little bit more warmth in mid-range. Mm. So when you engage the overdrive, it tends to be a bit smoother sounding, I would say, which is a great thing. Solid pine cabinets on the amplifiers now too.
That should make this a little lighter then, right?
Yes. Oh. So the Deluxe, along with the DeVilles, have solid pine, reduces the weight considerably, mm-hmm. which helps when you're gigging, makes it easier to get to the gig.
Also, theoretically, it resonates a little differently too. It should breathe a little more?
Yeah. So some people feel that with the amplifiers, solid pine, you know, the traditional Fender amps had it. It tends to resonate more because you don't have anything kind of holding back the sound, vibration.
Sure.
So it's a tonal enhancement, and over time, actually, the wood starts to resonate along with the amplifier and ends up sounding better over time, which is a really interesting thing.
We love that.
Yeah. The other thing is new speakers too. Celestion A-type speakers. So Celestion does a great job with their speaker line. Generally, they're voiced more towards a British sound and mm-hmm. feel. This amp is, you know, more of an American or California classic sound. So we thought having one of their speakers, the A-type, has a lot of warmth and character that mm-hmm. reminds me of my favorite sort of classic Fender sounds. So yeah. Really matches nicely with the amplifier. To your point, on the top of the amplifier, when you're looking at control-wise,
yes.
Yeah, you had mentioned the original ones had the chrome.
It was chrome, which was great, but there would be live situations because the lights are above, so it would reflect, and you really couldn't read the numbers. I feel goofy just saying that, but sometimes it was. So this is like a black matte, and the words and the numbers are white, and so I can imagine this is much easier to see and manage in the throes of live performance. You can kind of get to stuff and identify a lot quicker.
Yeah. Considering,
again, lighting situations what they are.
Yeah, when the lights are dark, it was initially supposed to kind of emulate our traditional tweet amps.
The old Bassmans, yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, it looks great, but to your point, if you're recording or you're in a studio or a stage where there's not a lot of lighting, mm-hmm. you want to know where all your controls are at. So having much more of a contrast with all the controls, the knobs are white, just helps you kind of dial in the sound quickly so you can get to playing and not...
And things get moved, things get knocked around or so, and so you're able to just like, oh no, get it right back there. So yeah, it happens. It happens.
Handle as well. So actually, we went from a dog bone to this is a more rugged, more like our traditional Fender vintage reissue line. So steel reinforced, so it's great for hauling around. You don't have to worry about your handle giving out on you. And so new players coming into the world, maybe they have a digital amp, or maybe they're dipping their toe into tube amps.
Sure.
And they're like, what are these hot rods? So I think it's important that they kind of hear the way that they sound, and I think we should go through some of the different tones that we can get to illustrate all the different sounds you can get. Now, this is an extremely versatile amplifier, so we'll delve into that and see how it sounds.
Lots of fun.
So let's get into the clean tones. For the intro, both Eugene and I were plugged into the Hot Rod Deluxe. His is a little off camera to illustrate some of those clean tones, but let's do it so you can really hear what's going on. With these amplifiers, a great thing about them, 2-channel, actually 2.5 channels. You've got a clean channel, you've got an overdrive, and you can actually add gain to the secondary channel, which we will get into at a certain point. But as we said, the foundation of any great tone is the clean tone.
Right, and may I ask, what is the tube combination in the hot rod?
It's a good question. So hot rods, we go with 6L6s for the power tubes, for you tube junkies out there. Those tubes have a really nice, robust sound.
Of course.
Really great low end.
Right.
It's 40 watts, so this is, an amplifier that sounds great at home, but great for gigging too. It'll keep up with the drummer.
Yeah, and pushing through that 112-inch speaker that you're talking about, yeah.
Yep, and then 312 AX7 preamp tubes.
Great.
So with the clean tone, I'm setting it up pretty straight up. The treble's down a little bit, bass down a little bit. I like to scoop my mids a little bit and add a bit of presence. And let's see how it sounds on a Strat. I'll go through a couple of different pickup positions so you can hear it. There you have it.
Yeah, nice. Being this close to the amp, I can hear that warmth you're talking about. It's and it really shows off the face of the guitar really, really well. I always think of like tone as being like the face of a player, and it was really, I guess maybe transparent's the best word. I really could definitely tell it was a Strat, and it had a beautiful kind of round curve to the high end. Sounds beautiful.
Well, that's the goal with these amplifiers, especially with the clean tones, is that you want the guitar to sound like the guitar and like the player. You don't want to mask anything, so I think it does a really good job with that. But let's listen to the telly and see how that sounds.
Let's see how that goes.
Sounds good. Well, why don't we increase the reverb to get that real drippy sound?
Okay, let's get drippy.
Let's get drippy.
All right, here we go.
Love it. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to do something right now that not a lot of people get a chance to do because, they talk about the clean side of this amplifier, using it for pedals. We're going to crank the thing up. We're going to take it up to about 10. It does go to 12 if you want to go all the way up, but I think 10 for me is the sweet spot. And you're just going to hit a couple of chords. You'll hear actually, this is the sound of power tube distortion through those 6L6s. A good thing to note is if you are going to run the amp this way, which if you can, I highly suggest, it does have an effects loop, which is great for any time-based effects because we know when you put pedals in front of an amplifier that is distorting, it can tend to mush out your delays or reverb. So if you are doing that, you just do it through the effects loop and you're good. So let's crank it up to 10, see how that sounds. I have no words for that. So that's the clean side.
Right.
Let's switch over to the drive side. I'm going to engage by the 2-button foot switch, and I'm going to add the gain at about, or the drive at about 9. I'm going to bring down the treble just a little bit. I'm playing a Strat, so it's a little bit of a brighter guitar.
Right.
And bring down the reverb just a hair too. Master's at about 4. The great thing about the amplifier is with the master volume, I can get gain at just about any volume that I want. So even playing in your bedroom or playing smaller venues, you can bring it down.
That's the advantage with having this as a backline amp. Obviously, different size venues, different situations, and you can kind of bring that tone and modulate it to accordingly.
Absolutely. Well, we can't all crank up just the volume and do that as much as we'd love to. I think the soundman would kill us.
Absolutely.
But having the master volume along with this sounds great, and it'll get you the tone that you want at any volume.
Cool.
So let's do it. I'm going to play a bit, and then I'm going to roll down the volume to show how it cleans up. Okay, so now I'm going to engage the more drive section of the amplifier by hitting the button. It's going to give me more saturation, great for leads, great for a more aggressive tone.
Right. And you can always start with the drive and then add and jump on this for like a solo, just for like a moment sort of thing, just kind of like push yourself over the edge. Cool.
Absolutely, the little push over the cliff. So let's try that out.
All right, well, it's my turn. I'm plugged into the drive channel, and you hear me engage the more drive partway through this. Here we go.
So the big question is for a lot of guitar players, how does it take pedals?
And how does it take pedals?
Well, I'm happy to say very well.
Okay,
very
good.
well. So I've got 3 pedals here. I've got the Pugilist distortion. I have the pinwheel, which is a great Leslie sound, and then the mirror image delay. So I'm going to start with a bass tone, and then I'm going to add the delay and the Pugilist distortion so you can hear how that sounds.
All right, now it's my turn. I'm going to start off with a clean sound, and then I'll engage the pinwheel pedal that Rick mentioned.
So there you have it, the Hot Rod Deluxe 4. Sounds great, 40 watts of all tube tone, single 12-inch Celestion A-type speaker, few tonal mods just to make it sound a little warmer, a little more present.
All pine.
All pine cabinet. What'd you think?
I love it. You know, I was really familiar with the very first version over the years, this Hot Rod 4. Congratulations, you did a great job of making those small adjustments. It looks great, sounds great. You should be proud.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah. Well, if you have any more questions about these Fender amps or other Fender amps, go to fender.com. Stay tuned here for more videos.